Again, on this series of Christian financial freedom, where I'm using a book to just share laws for financial freedom for Christians from a biblical point of view. Today, we're talking about point 20, Law of Preemptive Giving. This is part of the theme or law that talk about part of the law that talk about stewardship laws, and we'll be going through several of them. So today we'll be talking about preemptive giving. And what does that really mean? It's a preemptive giving is when you give something you perceive that someone needs without individual expressing or asking for it. So you are foreseeing a need. You are looking and feel, oh, this person would actually need this without them actually asking. And that's quite an important thing. It says, then he made up his mind to build a befitting temple for God. This is David, and this is in 2 Samuel verse 7 and 2. And it say, because he noticed, they said, the king summoned Nathan the prophet. Look, David said, I am living in a beautiful set up palace, but the ark of God is out there in the tent. Nathan replied to the king, go ahead and do whatever you have in mind, for the Lord is with you. So while he felt the need to create something more palatable, something more honoring to God, the ark of God, the things that belongs to God. That was kind of preemptive stuff. Although God did not want him to do that, and God he made provision for his son Solomon to do that, but he thought about it. He really wanted to do something about it. So that is why it is termed as preemptive giving. It said, because of that act to build a temple for God, it provoked God to make an everlasting covenant with David. He released more unimaginable blessings to his generation forever. And one of those is saying in Psalm 7, is saying, I will give you rest from all your enemies. And this is a promise God gave David and his descendants. So the way to think about this is, what are the things you're seeing around you, things that have not even been spoken about? It could be in the church, it could be a need in the church, it could be a need in the department that you serve in, and you preempt that there's a need for that, or you just make provision for that so that other people can enjoy from that. And in the business sense, it's talking about sometimes you need to find a way to give benefit to others. And he talked about motivated sellers, especially in real estate, where you think of what is that person need apart from the money. Money sometimes does not close the deal. What is of value to that person? And you can preempt that and put that as part of what you're putting forward to say, as part of this deal, as part of what I'm going to do, I'm going to allow you to do this. I'm going to give you time. It's kind of preemptive thinking ahead of what would make that person feel like, oh, wow, because of this, I'm actually going to go ahead with this because are not expecting it. So that is what preemptive means. You can structure it in a way that people will just feel like, oh, but I didn't ask for it. But you know that they may need it. You may that it might be useful for them. So that's quite important, because I know Jesus is true. He said, one thing with God true is that he never forgets. So preemptive, sometimes we'll feel, again, I say it again, is not where we sow that you're going to reap. So don't think your art or things are not recognized. To say one thing for sure is God does not forget this. And it comes in trickles, it comes in sizes, it comes in different dimensions. When we think about those things we can do, preemptive could being of service in a community, being of service in your church, being of service to others, and that goes a long way. So I would encourage us to think more about that. So again, action point, because we want people to be able to take action from what we are learning, so that as a whole we can increase our biblical understanding and take the right action. So action point, make a list of needs in your church or ministry that you could help to meet. So just start looking around you. Just what service can you do? What help can you provide? What monetary items could you support with? What time or what are the resources? What are your skills that you can help with? God wants souls to be saved. I regularly contribute to missionary outreach. So sometimes it's supporting other people doing the front line of God's work, reaching out to others, reaching out to other souls. That is could be your contribution to that. Are there other areas that touches God's heart that I could give towards? So think about it. What are the areas God will be pleased that you're supporting the ministry in, or you're supporting the kingdom, or you're supporting the community of the kingdom minded people? So preemptive giving, it's one of those things that we can use to build financial fortress, financial wealth for ourselves, and understanding how this works, connecting it to God first in everything we do. Thank you, and I hope you're enjoying this series talking about Christian financial freedom, creating awareness, creating education around things, finances, and biblical principles. I'll see you next time.